At this time, I'd like to introduce the moderator for our program and our discussion, and that is Laura Weber. And as many of you know, Laura is the co-owner of Maggie Moo's Ice Cream and Treatery, and of course you've already met Jay earlier today. Laura comes from a long career in legislative and governmental relations, and she has served on the Round Rock Chamber Board of Directors now for about 3 years. She's also currently serving, in addition to all the work she does at the Chamber, she's also serving on the City of Round Rock Bond Advisory Commission. And so she brings a lifelong interest and involvement in public policy issues to her role with the Advocacy Council. So please join me in welcoming Laura Weber.
Thank you, Doug. Appreciate everyone being here. We have a great panel for you today that I know I'm excited about, being a small business owner, hearing some tips about training and growing a big business. And if I could, I'd just like to ask the speakers to go ahead and come up to the table while I'm making a few comments, and then I'll introduce them to you, and we will get started in hearing their remarks. I just saw on my BlackBerry that at 12:03 the bill for TRVs for Texas State passed the House, so it should be coming soon. So that's good news, something that the city and the Chamber have been supporting. I know there's a lot of Texas State folks here today too, so that's good news to get some growth out of the Texas State campus. I also want to acknowledge the Business Advocacy Council because just at the last meeting, Landy mentioned that we should have a session about small business and training, and lo and behold, here they are. So great suggestion, and something that the Advocacy Council is always trying to think of things that will help bring forward things that will help business succeed, as well as working on and tracking and bringing to you information on policy issues that are of interest to business in Round Rock. So let me introduce our panel. I'm so pleased that they're all here. And first here on my left is Hector Aguilar, who is the Executive Dean of Continuing Education at Austin Community College. He oversees the Continuing Education Division. They deliver open enrollment courses and programs in many businesses, high technology, and healthcare areas, including corporate customized training that is delivered specifically to companies and organizations. Dr. Aguilar, thank you for being here. Celia Bell is with SCORE, and she joined the Austin SCORE chapter in 2003 and has had several leadership positions, including chapter chair, and is currently assistant director overseeing the activities of the Corpus Christi chapter. Her work in the Austin SCORE chapter includes team lead for community partners and facilitating workshops in social media, SEO, legal, and fund franchising. Craig Henry is the Business Services Representative for the Rural Capital Area Texas Workforce Solutions Office in Round Rock. He is responsible for outreach to all businesses in the Livingston, Burnett, and Llano County areas. He works with employers, assisting them with their talent acquisition efforts. Dick Johnson is the Senior Business Advisor at the Texas State University Small Business Development Center. As a certified business advisor with the Development Center, Dick works with both startups and existing small businesses to help them obtain funding, do business planning, marketing, financial analysis, and government contracting. Paul T. Martin is the director of the Texas Entrepreneur Network. He founded the firm to provide leadership in developing the entrepreneur ecosystem for early and mid-stage companies in Texas. His expertise includes launching startups, creating accelerator programs, and funding companies. He advises companies on fundraising, go-to market strategies, product development, team building, and more. So as you can see, we have a great panel of experts here that we want to hear from each one of them. Hector, we will start with you, if that's okay. Let's have a round of applause for them first.
Here we are. Good afternoon. My name is Hector Aguilar, and yes, I work at the college in continuing education. And In continuing education, we offer about 1,100 to 1,300 classes in topics from marketing, management, finance, how to make applications for Apple, for Samsung, Android, for pick a topic and we probably have it. If you want to learn how to play golf, we have that too. We have things like customer service. We also do corporate training solutions, and we typically deal with a lot of different companies at any given time. Just to give you an example, right now we're probably training about 9 different companies in the region. And fortunately and unfortunately, they're typically large and mid-sized companies, and we want to do a better job with smaller companies. We do everything from manufacturers, where we teach them how to program their programmable logic controllers, their drives, their robotics, their pneumatics, hydraulics, all their networking, basically how to run their manufacturing facilities. We also do things like lean manufacturing, lean office, Six Sigma, all the green belts, black belts for those areas. We also do managerial training from supervisory level, from the bottom all the way to executive level. We have about 250 instructors that do this, and some of them, well, actually all of them came from industry, but some of them came from positions really high up at their firms where they were at, and so they have really good insights. And I just wanted to mention, if anything, that we have a lot of classes. We have some folks here, Karen Duncan, and if you guys want to just stand for a sec, Karen Duncan, Don Tracy, Gene Binder. We have a staff of about 50 people that coordinate these partnerships with companies like yours to offer training, and they would be some of the key people that do the organizing. I wanted to mention that we work very closely with Workforce Solutions capital area and rural area, and so they connect with a lot of companies like yours. We work with them and with Texas Workforce Commission to come out with customized, tailored training programs for firms like yours. There's a grant that maybe some of you or most of you might be familiar with, the Skills Development Fund grant. They typically pay for all of the training. So if you need like technical training for your technicians and engineers, HR training for HR, management and supervisory skills for the part of your company, we can offer that training. It's for free. All you would have to do is meet with us, and we have to basically put together a proposal, which is kind of thick, but we do all the work. And at the end of the day, the college is responsible. We get money from Texas Workforce Commission. We work with Workforce Solutions and some other partners, and we make sure that you get what you want, how you want it, when you want it. Just to give you an example, at Samsung, for example, we've trained in the last year and a half about 700 engineers and technicians in an array of topics. And some of the classes that we offer, that we provide for them, are 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. So basically, we'll do what you want, when you want it, how you want it. So it's quite a bit.
Good morning, or good afternoon. I'm Celia Bell, and I'm with SCORE. Some of you may not know about SCORE, but if you are an entrepreneur or a small business in business right now, and you have a business problem or want to start a business, then you probably should take a look at SCORE. SCORE is a national nonprofit association that there are 12,000 volunteers nationwide, 340 locations within the country. Our website offers many opportunities, both at the national level and at the local level, for you to get training. Our goal is really we had 2 really basic programs. One is a face-to-face mentoring, and I was interested in the sponsor of your event today about coaching, because often some of what we do is coaching, but probably not to the detail that you do, but we do have similar skills and similar things that we do when we work with a client starting, especially one that is first starting out. We often get the small business when they're just in the infant stage and just starting. We may grow it, and we do, and I could cite you examples of small businesses that have grown. But locally, we have 7 locations, and in those locations, we have individual counselors or mentors, as we refer to them now, like myself and like Doug Laws, who is, Doug, raise your hand, he's a member of the Round Rock Chamber, and we have another Doug that also does mentoring here next door at the Chase Bank, and we're very thankful to the Round Rock Chamber for scheduling. They're one of our partners, and they help schedule appointments. So if you are an entrepreneur wanting to start a business, or you're a small business with an issue perhaps that you'd like to discuss, maybe it's to reboot maybe you've been in business. I had a client the other day that had been in business 7 years, and she wanted to start again and reboot it and grow. So we started all over again, in a sense, and revamped and started to grow. In the last 3 months, she's doubled her income and has seen real growth in having a mentor, a coach. We're not consultants. We don't provide a plan that is written, and we don't charge. Everything is free. We offer workshops that augment our mentoring. And you can go online, which I think you might find interesting, both at the national level and at the local level. And it's just score.org for the national. And you can take advantage of free webinars on almost any subject, from human resources to SEO to how to use social media. Many, many different ideas that you can get just there. And if you would like to establish a relationship with a mentor, say in some other part of the United States, you can search and find skills that they have, and then you can set up a mentoring relationship via email on an ongoing basis. I do that currently and visit with people all over the country about different issues that they are having in their business. And then sometimes we have a Skype session or a phone session follow up. But very often we find skills there that we don't find in our own community. So there may be other skills that you could take advantage of. Just a couple of statistics. Last year's score helped start 37,000 plus businesses in the United States. And it began 82,000 plus jobs out of the work that we have done. So think of us as business people helping business people solve business problems. And if we can be of any assistance to you, you can make an appointment easily on our website just by signing up. And someone will be in touch with you within 24 hours to schedule a one-on-one free mentoring session. And thanks again to Round Rock Chamber for being such a great partner.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Craig Henry. I'm with the Workforce Solutions Office, the rural capital area, and the rural capital area is all of the counties that surround Travis County. We have offices here in Round Rock, off of Round Rock West, across from St. Williams. We have them in Taylor, Burnett, Llano, and San Marcos. We are a one-stop shop for job seekers and for employers. On the job seeker side, if you are a person looking for a job, our main website that we promote is Work in Texas. When you're looking for a position, all you have to do is log on. Every service that we offer is at no additional charge to the employer or the job seeker. So you log on to Work in Texas. At any one time, we have 140,000 jobs online for Texas job seekers. And we can have 5 million resumes for employers looking for a job seeker throughout the state. A job seeker that comes into our center off Round Rock West, we have a complete array of features and services for them at no additional charge. We give them a computer, we give them printers, copiers, fax machines. There's counselors there to counsel them, find out what their skill set is, get them back on track. We have workshops just about every single day of how to build an effective resume, how to do an effective job interview. We tell them, go through a skills assessment, find out what job is right for them. And then once we have them on a path, we get them on Work in Texas, and we start proactively sending them job match alerts and showing them jobs that their skill set matches up to, get them to apply for the job and get them back on their feet and primarily get them off unemployment. That's the goal for all of us. We also heavily cater to our veterans. The first 48 hours of any job posting that goes on Work in Texas is seen by only our veterans. We have 4 veterans representatives on site at our location at any one time to talk primarily to our veterans, give them special programs, have them talk to certain employers that are very veteran friendly. We even have a special job fair. Hopefully this February, we're going to have another veterans job fair that we had out at the Round Rock Armory, where we had 30 employers like Dell Computer, Chase Bank, Coca-Cola come out and recruit solely our veterans. So we're very veteran-centric. On the employer side, my job, which I consider the best job in the world, I go out and I work with local employers to get them to post their jobs on Work in Texas. It's at no charge for you to post a job on Work in Texas at any time. All you have to do is do a one-time registration. You go in, you post their job, you set the skill set, you tell us how you would like for the employees or the applicants to contact you. They contact you, and we facilitate employment that way, or we do on-site or off-site job fairs. Maggie Moose was one of our employers that came to our recent youth job fair that we had at our location. We had 20 employers show up and about 185 kids. And if you've never seen a 16-year-old young man or young woman talk to an employer for the first time, it's quite a treat. I'll tell you that right now. We have youth job fairs, we have veterans job fairs. I'm working with several chambers of commerce in the Williamson County area to have business expos and job fairs. We do what we can to facilitate getting people back to work and off of unemployment. It's probably the most important job I've ever had. I take it very seriously. So if you're an employer out there, you're looking for a really good, long-term, meaningful employee, I can certainly facilitate that with you. We're not just the unemployment office. We're a solutions office to get people back to work as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So I appreciate your time today.
Good afternoon. I hope you're totally confused now as to what services are available to you. My name is Dick Johnson. I'm a business advisor with Texas State Small Business Development Center and a technology commercialization specialist. Texas State Small Business Development Center, located in our Round Rock office. We also have an office in Central Austin and in San Marcos. We have 12 advisors that cover a 12-county area. Typically what we do is to assist either startup businesses that are ready to execute their business plan, that are sound financially or can obtain financing for their business, or existing companies looking to grow their business, search out new markets for their existing businesses, export, do government contracting, and a wide variety of other things. What we do is obviously one-on-one mentoring, which SCORE also does. We also have specialty teams in technology, human resources, importing and exporting, government contracting, and I have a research team all available to you on a no-charge basis. Your tax dollars at work. What separates us is our ability to dig deep into an entrepreneur's issues. What can we solve? What are the problems? And how do we go about solving these problems? I was an entrepreneur. I often felt like I was an island. All you entrepreneurs that are sitting in this room, how many times have you felt really alone? You really don't feel that you can talk to your neighbor. You don't really feel like somebody else really needs to get into your business. But you still have those decisions to make. I don't know where to turn. Consider the Small Business Development Center. That's why we're here. That's why we want to be able to assist you in developing your business so that you can grow, prosper, and succeed, and hire employees and pay more taxes. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Paul Martin. I'm with the Texas Entrepreneur Network, and we're based here in Central Texas, and we primarily focus on helping people raise funding. And we've been doing that through primarily forming angel groups. For those who are not familiar with angel groups, those are individuals who are making investments into startups and growth companies with the intention of making a return. So we help start the Central Texas Angel Network, the Baylor Angel Network, and we have one here in this area called the Wilco Angel Network. So quarterly we have investors come together, look at startups and growing companies to potentially make investments. That's about $2.5 million for the last 2.5 years here in this area. And we also have a nonprofit called the Texas Open Angel Network, which shows people how you can become a more successful angel investor by mostly hearing presentations from other people who have been there and done that. So the two things we see going forward in the fundraising world is one, crowdfunding. We actually have a funding portal on our website now. And there's different kinds of crowdfunding, but we're fostering that through webinars and presentations as to how crowdfunding works. It is growing very rapidly, and we do see quite a few people successfully raising funding through portals that are out there. And the second is what's called revenue-based funding. Investors are increasingly looking to put money into startups and growing companies for a percent of the revenue instead of equity, because we're finding a lot of interest for a little bit earlier paybacks. So those are the two things we do. We also do work in the area of networking and mentoring. If you go to our website, you'll find a list of all the groups that are in the area for networking, mentoring, funding, university, etc. on our website. So if you Google Texas Entrepreneur Network, you'll see us, and you'll find a nice resource list for groups across the different ecosystems throughout the state of Texas. And we've also helped start some mentoring groups as well in the form of accelerators. 12-week acceleration programs. We've done the incubation station, which is for consumer product goods. We've done near-field communication accelerator. We've done the Biz Owners Ed accelerator, and we can help you start your accelerator if you're of interest to learn more about it.
All right, thank you very much. We have time for questions. Does anyone have questions for our panel here? Landy?
So the question, I believe, is if you take on investment, you lose control. And so the key is to not take on too much outside investment relative to what's going on in there. And the right kind of investment will help the entrepreneur maintain control as well. So one of the biggest fears or lines I don't like to hear is we have to get big fast. Because that means the entrepreneur is really strapping a rocket to his back and probably raising too much funding for what they're trying to do, and they're about to lose control of the whole thing. So the idea is to take on funding, but take on small amounts that allow you to remain in control of the business as well as the ownership going forward. And like I say, we're seeing other structures like revenue-based funding come up where you're not giving equity ownership of your company, you're giving a percent of revenue going forward, and there's quite an appetite for that. And therefore you maintain more ownership and control through those structures as well. So the banks don't loan as much as they used to, and that's created opportunities for other people to come up with new and innovative ways of funding companies.
as well.
Another question?
Which market segments do you all think are the most attractive for a startup or entrepreneur?
So which market segments do we see as the most attractive? Certainly software is very scalable. It's very easy to get into, very low cost, but it's also got a lot of competition. Long term, I see a lot of advantage in medical device. There's a lot of money going into healthcare. We survey all of the companies that raise funding in the state of Texas, and healthcare and biotech are always the top two statewide. So if you want to know where the money is flowing, it's flowing into healthcare in a big way. So that's not a bad place to be. Someone once told me, go to where the money is. Well, the money's in healthcare. My personal vision is that the next major thrust for funding is going to be in the food and the water space. There's going to be a lot of innovations going on with new foods, packaging, shipping, labeling, and water preservation. And so there'll be a lot of innovations because there's a lot of inefficiencies in that space right now. But I'll ask the other panelists here, what do you guys see?
What I see, especially in our technology commercialization program, we're seeing three distinct areas. Hall touched on the biomedical arena. The other one is green energy in a wide variety of different forms. And also we see in software development and platform development. Most of those are somewhat what we call disruptive technologies. Disruptive technologies mean that they're just not add-ons to existing technology, but totally innovative approaches. So those are really the hot button right now that we see. And if you take a look at some of the statistics that have come from the Workforce Commission lately, a lot of the reasoning behind the slow economic recovery or job recovery is because a number of those positions that were laid off were being replaced by technology. So I think anything that can foster that kind of change in the way we perceive how business is done is a major factor.
I heard a comment about crowdfunding, and I must wonder if that's
Crowdfunding is where you have well, there's two different levels. Crowdfunding right now, as we know it, is where you can go onto a website and invest a certain amount of money into a company in which you will get some kind of a return. In other words, a product, or almost like bartering. You're buying something offline. That's called donation-based crowdfunding, where it's available to anybody, and it can go out for as little as $25 to several $100s. But you will receive something as a return. The part of the Obama Jobs Act has recently, or that has been approved and is in the process of being regulated right now, is where you would actually be able to go out and invest and receive stock in a small company, privately held company. You would actually receive stock. Whatever that value is determined by the business plan and everything like that you can go out and actually take a look at what kind of products and services are being offered and what they're going to be charging for stock. That is an SEC regulated business, and it would be available to worldwide investors.
Just add on to that, the Jobs Act came out about a year ago, and for a year, many of the people were waiting to figure out how the SEC and FINRA were going to treat the implications of the Jobs Act. And after about a year, it became clear the SEC was not going to figure out anything anytime soon. So most people just moved on in the equity fundraising world of just working with accredited investors only. Only accredited investors could log in, and so the non-accredited investors and others in the future that could participate in equity deals, well, that's going to be on hold for a while. And they're using the websites to just partner or pair entrepreneurs and angels together, and then offline they continue to transact the deals as they always have in the past. So it's a stopgap measure.
Anything else? I'm glad you asked that question because I was going to if you didn't. So, and any other questions but for our panel? I wanted to ask Celia and Dick, I think y'all both talked about small businesses and entrepreneurs coming to you with issues or problems within their businesses that they needed to address. Can you kind of give us a feel for maybe the top 3 issues you see that they're coming to you for help with?
I'll start. Okay. I had to stop and think. Yesterday I spoke to our SCORE chapter in Austin, and I was talking to them, and I had a whole list. I wish I had brought my list of the most recent questions that I received. But some of them have to do, a lot of them have to do with marketing. People want to know how to grow their business. That seems to be the main thing. The other is what is SEO, and can you count the ROI? Of social media? How do we know this is really worth all the time and interest? So we get some of those questions. But most of all, we start with the people very often, not like some of the others here at this table, but those who are really just starting with an idea. So they come with an idea and they want to know if it's a valid idea. And so they want to know if it can make any money. So that's the first thing we do is, and since we are retired, most of us, and have all been in business and have that experience, we bring to that. That's what we bring to the table. We do have other volunteers in SCORE that are young, have babies, that are regular folks that have jobs and just give some of their time. But most of us are retired. And so we get the startups, what I call the baby questions about what do I need to do, 1, 2, 3, would you hold my hand and walk me through all these steps? And then we get the other client that has been around, has got a problem, and they want us to help solve it. And it can be anything from a franchising question to a board problem to an HR problem. It really, anything, if you're in business, you know what your problems are, right? And so I think I've seen almost all of them, and I've experienced almost all of them, whether they're employee, whether they're dealing with vendors, whether you're dealing with a customer, and there are just so many issues that we deal with that, and it's really, we bring to the table at SCORE our experience. So, and I could tell you story after story about different clients that I'm currently working with, just to give you some examples, but I don't think we have time for that. I'm going to let Richard.
The biggest problem that I have, I built it and they're not coming. So one of the things that I probably see more than anything else is teaching, believe it or not, teaching an entrepreneur how to sell their business, how to sell their business to their client or their prospect. Where is my prospect? How do I go about finding them, and this type of thing. So that's That's probably the largest one that I have. The second one is I need to grow my business to another marketplace. Tell me about that marketplace. And that's what we do, is we utilize our research team to do market trends, who the biggest players are, who your competition is, how big is your competition, how do I differentiate myself from my competition. And the third probably is in understanding their financial statements. What is it really telling me? So consequently, what we do is we work very diligently on the running the business aspect of their business. What does my balance sheet mean, and what is my cash flow statement? When should I take money out of my business? I've got to eat too. Or I want to get that new car, I'm just going to take it out of my business. So those are common questions or common issues that we deal with. Marketing, management, and new opportunities.
Okay, thank you. Other questions for our panel? Okay, I have one more. Dr. Arthur, I wanted to ask you, and perhaps play this question about what are you seeing are the most valued offerings that y'all have, and what kind of training are people looking for?
We have, working with a lot of companies, we find that manufacturing is a big opportunity. We've been seeing a lot of manufacturers manufacturing a lot of stuff and growing quite a bit in the last few years. I know I used to work for another company prior to the college for Rockwell, and we used to source automation equipment from Dallas to Mexico, the northern part of Mexico. And I remember Waco and San Antonio in particular, and the Mexican side on the border were our targets. That's where manufacturing was happening. Austin was a fun place, but not really an industrial place. There wasn't a lot of opportunity in Austin back then. And probably in the last 15 years ago, when the semiconductor industry took off, and maybe a little bit before that, a lot of jobs for engineers and technicians in the area. And those, when Motorola came and AMD and Semitech and Applied Materials, those companies came in, and they provided a lot of business for a lot of companies. I would say right now, healthcare is the big one. Somebody mentioned a lot of jobs. We train a lot of people in healthcare, and many of them have a job before they finish school. Manufacturing, as I was saying, prior to coming here this morning, I was at a CNC machining company that's here in Monroe. And the same complaint I heard from them, from as other companies, is we need people. We need a lot of people. They're growing in multiples of 2, 3, 4, not only in people, but in sales and profits. A lot of manufacturing. We've gone to a good number of companies in Cedar Park, here, in Pflugerville, going Kyle, south of Austin, and it's full of companies. And what I hear from them is we need people that are skilled in these areas. Can they troubleshoot these systems? Can they maintain this? Are they responsible? Are they going to show up for work? In the case of CNC machining, hundreds of jobs right now. In welding, the same thing. A lot of companies need welders right now. There's not enough welders. HVAC, electrical. I mean, the list goes on and on. Healthcare, the same thing. So if I was looking for a job, those would be areas that I would be targeting. Another area, IT. IT's huge. You know that GM's coming. What are they hiring? IT. Visa's coming. What are they hiring? High-paying jobs? IT. So you have the semiconductor industry. You have IT. You have all the programming app jobs. There's a bunch of those. And then you have manufacturing. And of course, if those companies do well, then services are going to do well, because there's more people coming into the region, and we all need everything. So Austin today, this region, Central Texas today, is obviously very different than it was 15 years ago. And a lot of opportunity, a tremendous opportunity. We see it every day.
one thing that we get asked a lot from our employers is, are they bilingual? Our population is going through a dramatic shift. Us baby boomers, we're about to ride off in the sunset, and we're going to create a large void. Our population is going to move, and more employers are needing bilingual employees. Another thing that we're seeing are the trade level employees, the welders, the truck drivers, people of that ilk can pretty much write their own ticket because of the void that has been created in Eagle Ford Shale down in South Texas, and now out in West Texas in the Midland, Odessa, Big Spring area. They're about to start their fracking operations out there. Anybody that wants to get into a trucking company or welding company, pipe fitting, anything like that, you're going to have your pickings out there. As I said, with the baby boomers, I'm starting to see more and more out in my area in Marble Falls, in Burnett, Lano. I'm starting to see a lot more nursing homes opening up. Marble Falls is going to be a huge destination for retirees. It already is, but it's going to get even bigger. Burnett's the same way. Georgetown, Leander, Cedar Park. Our population, our generation is starting to move into that need area. So there's going to be a lot more opportunity in that area as well.
Thank you. Ooh, more questions. I can take one more, I think, right here.
This is for Hector. You mentioned skill development. It sounds like it's more tailored for larger companies. You've got like 8 to 10 employees who just want to get more skilled in marketing and sales and technology, want to go to some classes. Is there anything that can help with?
Absolutely. TWC has a mandate. They have to spend the money that they have. And actually, they have quite a bit. And so what we'll do, and the folks that are here, and some of the others, is we'll cluster you with a set of other small companies that have similar needs like you, so that we can do it. And it's a really good deal. It's free. I mean, they really want businesses to grow, employ more people, and pay more taxes. Bottom line. Yeah, there's also a small business grant. Actually, the legislature is meeting right now to refund it, but basically it's like, I want to say, I'm going to approximate here about $750 of training per existing employee right now, and double that for a new employee. So if you want to train your existing employees on QuickBooks or market, whatever you want, you pick from 1,000 topics. I think they're paying about $750. And if, like I said, if you're going to be hiring people, then it's double that approximately. But I think they're going through refunding right now in legislature. But I mean, there's money. There's a lot of money. If you're a business and your intent is to train people to grow, and if you want to hire people, they're especially interested in you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's have a round of applause for our